What if the most dangerous person in your life isn't the one who screams at you, but the one who makes you feel guilty for being upset? Let's get straight to the point. Number 1, identify the invisible pattern. Toxic people don't announce themselves. They don't wear a warning label. What they do is far more precise. They make you question your own perception of reality. Psychologists call it gaslighting, but it goes deeper than a buzzword. Every time you feel confused after a conversation, every time you leave an interaction more drained than when you entered, your nervous system is already tracking the threat. You just weren't listening to it. Here's the pattern. Toxic people create chaos, then position themselves as the only source of calm. They manufacture a problem, then they sell you the solution. That is not a relationship. That is a trap. But here's where it gets dangerous. Number 2, your empathy is the weapon being used against you. The reason intelligent, self-aware people stay in toxic dynamics longer than anyone else is precisely because of their intelligence. You keep searching for a rational explanation. You keep giving the benefit of the doubt. You assume bad behavior must have a reason, because you would only act that way if something was deeply wrong. That assumption is their greatest advantage over you. Research from the University of British Columbia found that individuals high in empathy are statistically more likely to remain in psychologically harmful relationships. Not because they're weak, because they're wired to heal. And toxic people are wired to exploit exactly that. However, and this is the reversal most people never see coming, your empathy isn't the problem. The problem is that you've been applying it in the wrong direction, toward them, instead of toward yourself. Number 3, stop trying to win, start trying to exit. Most people engage with toxic behavior as if it's a debate to be won. They gather evidence, they rehearse arguments, they wait for the moment the toxic person finally understands. That moment does not come, because toxic dynamics are not built on logic, they're built on leverage. Every time you argue, explain, or justify yourself, you're handing them more of it. You're proving that their behavior produces a reaction in you, and reaction is control. The smartest move isn't to fight harder, it's to become strategically boring. Behavioral scientists call this extinction, removing the reward that reinforces the behavior. When you stop reacting, genuinely stop, not suppress, the behavior loses its fuel. Silence, delivered with calm, is the most disorienting thing you can do to someone who feeds on emotional output. But here's what no one tells you about this strategy. Number 4, the hidden cost of staying calm. You are not dealing with a difficult person. You are dealing with a version of yourself that learned somewhere along the line that love comes with conditions, that safety has to be earned, that if you just explain yourself clearly enough, someone will finally choose to see you. The toxic person in your life didn't appear randomly. Familiarity chose them for you. Studies on attachment theory consistently show that we unconsciously recreate emotional environments that mirror our earliest relationships. Not because we're broken, but because the brain is pattern-seeking. It finds comfort in what it already knows, even when what it knows is pain. This is the part of the video where it stops being about them and starts being about you. Number 5, the only strategy that actually works. You cannot out-argue someone who isn't interested in truth. You cannot out-love someone who is using love as currency. And you cannot heal inside the same environment that made you sick. The research is unambiguous. Distance, physical, emotional, or communicative, is the single most effective intervention in toxic relational patterns. Not therapy without boundaries, not hope without action. Distance, structural, deliberate, non-negotiable. But distance alone is incomplete. What fills the space after they're gone is what determines whether the pattern ends or simply transfers to the next person. The real work is learning to tolerate relationships that don't feel like survive. Here's the universal truth beneath all of this. Humans are not afraid of toxic people. They are afraid of the quiet that exists without them. Because in that quiet, There are no distractions, no chaos to manage, no person to decode. Just you and the question you've been avoiding. Which makes you wonder, what if the most dangerous person in your life isn't the one who screams at you at all?